Hello, my friend. So welcome to your reading. Lighting is okay. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. I have your initials as requested. I just need to check one quick thing though. I already checked it, but I want to just double check that you didn't have any special requests. I would have written them down here. Okay. Yeah. So you have like the very similar chart than mine, I'm pretty sure. I said it was an easy one, just not because you have like an easy chart necessarily, but because there's a lot in common with our charts, where it's just like it's energies that I know really well, whether it's like a family member or someone I dated, a friend, whatever, right? So, yeah. Um, okay, so let's see here. One quick second. I just want to see. Esme. Okay, so the moon has just entered Capricorn. It's funny how that the moon just entered Capricorn and now I'm like, it's time to work. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go in share screen mode and I will alternate between like showing my face and sharing the screen. So okay. So let's pull this up. This might not make much sense to you, but just don't worry about it because it will make sense. Okay, and you have a follow-up also. So I always recommend people who have the follow-up. If I have to turn my timer on. To I mean, most people, honestly, my readings they get pretty deep. That's like what everyone says, not just I mean, I'm just saying that's what people say. People tend to watch the readings multiple times. Not everyone. Why is it not changing? Okay. So I always tell people like especially with the follow-up, like my suggestion, I mean everyone's different. Some people can just watch it once, some people are too busy, is to watch it and kind of like get the flow of it the first time. The follow-up, it's not like it has to be like like it can be whenever you want. Like some people have it like months later, some people have it, you know, I'd say the average for like 2 weeks later, something like that. Um, or 3 weeks even, but yeah, it's up to you. But what I was gonna say is like in the if you watch it like a second or even third time, then it could be good to take notes. But there's probably gonna be times during this reading where I'll be like, okay, make sure to remind me to talk about this during the follow-up, because when I do readings I completely black out. Like I just get into a flow state and I don't necessarily remember anything, to be honest. So if I might like tell you like can you like just write this down so remember it for the follow up, because the follow up is super important, how we're piecing everything together. Anyways, okay. So Libra rising with Venus in Libra, beautiful placement on the ascendant, with the sun at 27 Leo, right on my ascendant, 1 degree from my ascendant. Very cool. Very awesome. In the 11th house, House Aquarius. And the moon in Pisces, conjunct the South Node. Interesting. And yeah, you get that really amazing energy right here, right? So your ascendant is kind of like your outer personality, if you want to think of it like that. It's kind of like the mask you wear, right? It's what people see when they get to know you. Um, and basically when you have Venus, which is like this very the planet of beauty, excuse me, this very benefic, just amazing planet for everything that relates to like the finer things in life, you can say. And of course, it's a planet of love, attraction, everything that's nice. So to have that in, so Venus, the two signs that work the best for Venus are Libra and Taurus. It's called being in dignity, right? Different zodiac signs work better for different planets because different planets have different aims. So And the ascendant, right, having Venus in dignity in Libra rising. So it's called either Venus conjunct ascendant, right? Venus conjunct ascendant, or Venus rising, right? Because ascendant / rising is the same thing. So Venus rising is probably a cooler way to call it. And that is a very, very huge super talent. I mean, it's just something that like, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest about what that means. And by the way, like, just so you know, I've never looked at a photo of you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea of anything about your energy. I do this on purpose. I say this to every client just so they know, like, I'm coming into this like with zero memory of our conversation, just besides the part of a little bit about you said a little bit about what you said about wanting me to use your initials. That's literally all I remember. And I do that on purpose. And that's why, the amount of time passes, and by the time that my wait list is I get around doing your reading, which I've done like a record amount of readings, but I just had a nice full 5-day rest. No, not even. Only give myself 4 days. I didn't think I'd work today, but here we are. But yeah, it's been wild. So anyways, so okay, so with the Venus rising in Libra, it's the best thing possible for attraction. Now I don't just mean that, like, I mean, yeah, like people that have Venus and Libra rising, they're gonna have a very attractive and kind of beautiful aura, if you want to think about it like that. Like and I'll switch back to my face because I just have a feeling that, yeah, my eyes, they should be way more red. I guess I slept I recovered from this music festival. I slept enough, I guess. I was getting insecure about my eyes, like, because they get so red during summer. But anyways, my nose is scratchy. Okay, anyways, so basically, yeah, having Venus rising, it's going to be very easy for you to attract people, whether it's the kind of like attraction through like romance and love, or whether it's like being very popular, very, very, very good for arts, for being like talented in the arts of some sort, and having, I guess you could say, like very Libra things like design and beauty, like in your surroundings, right? And also the whole thing with Libra is about balance. So Libra, so you probably would be like the ultimate diplomat, and have a very soothing energy to people around you. Now you combine that with the fact that you're a Leo sun, and it's in the 11th house of Aquarius. And the house represents an arena of energy, like where the solar energy takes place in the case of the sun, like at different areas of life. So 11th house represents like friends, like grand life ambitions, and yeah, it's kind of about community and finding like-minded people that you can like work with, right? But it can mean lots of different things. It can mean that your friends play a very prominent role in your life, and they can't even just go out. I think so. Yeah, it does that. It's really annoying. So yeah, your friends can play a very, very prominent role in your life. But you'll really want to find groups that and it could also be work groups. I mean, like people like associations you're a part of, charity groups, I don't know, whatever, right? Like basically just like where you're not just working with yourself, where you're working with other people. And to have Leo there, it's like, that's a sign. I don't really like want to go into your sun sign because, I mean, I would hope that people would understand their sun sign. But basically, I'm a Leo, like I said, I'm a Leo rising at nearly the exact same degree. Mine's like 1 degree higher than yours. So, or even, yeah, exactly 1 degree, I think. So, yeah, basically like it's a very strong energy. And it works, it works really well with the Libra because they're both very social energies. So the sun is like the core essence of who you are. It's like more about your identity. Like if you think about yourself metaphorically, like you are a solar system, right? Each of us is a solar system. You can see how the sun and the moon are the two most important, right? Now, some people think the sun's more important. I disagree. I think that they're at the very least 50-50. I would say that I would say moon 51-49, just to kind of antagonize people, or just at least not really. It's probably more 50-50, but like the fact of the matter is that with your moon sign, you can't be happy. So this is the key point here. Your sun sign, it's gonna be more obvious. You're a Leo. You're gonna know you're a Leo. It's gonna be it's the sun. You can see the sun, right? And with your rising, you know it's gonna be very easily understood too. And there's more I need to talk to you about the rising too. And I could get into that more in the love section, but yeah. You have some Virgo energy in 12th house too. Okay. Oh, Mercury retrograde. Wow. Natal Mercury retrograde. I've been seeing that a lot lately with clients. But yeah, okay. So basically, like, you're gonna want to really like shine within your friendships, within the groups that you're a part of. Now let's see if there's any difficult. Okay, you have Sun square Pluto. So this is another theme that's coming up, right? Is around power and powerlessness, power trips. So make sure this is my first thing that I want us to talk about in the follow-up, right? Now, the thing about this square though is that they're not squaring elementally, they're only squaring in terms of degrees. So it still works, but it's not as potent as if for example, I guess I'll just show you this. Basically, if you see this is 27 degrees, a square is 90 degrees. If this was 27, and instead of this being in Sag, this was like, I don't know, even 24 or 23, but in the sign of Scorpio that squares Leo, it would be more potent. But because it's Pluto, it's outer planet, the sign matters less, right? The sign matters less. It matters, but it matters less in my experience. So it's that square still applies, right? And besides that, big aspects you have Mars square Uranus. So Uranus you see here at 5 Aquarius, Mars here at 3 Scorpio. It's a very strong Mars sign, by the way. So you have your Venus and your Mars both in dignity. That's very, very powerful. Meaning that your Mars and your Sun. So interesting. I don't know if I've seen this before. So interestingly, your Mercury too. However, your Mercury is in retrograde, so that's gonna kind of change that a little bit. And your moon's in Pisces, which it's not in dignity, but I mean, the moon's in dignity in Cancer, which is another water sign, but it's different. But I wouldn't. We'll get into Pisces because what I was saying earlier was like your sun sign is, come on, like you can see it, you get it. It's where you're meant to shine in life. You're meant to shine in that very Leo, passionate warrior type way. And with that Scorpio Mars, you're like also like a spiritual warrior, a warrior, that looks out for the people. Very empathetic, very like a spiritual warrior. Yeah, that's what I always call it, the Mars and Scorpio. It's a very strong energy. But this kind of relates to a theme I'm seeing already in your chart. Is I'm very curious about how power struggles have played out in your life. I'll go back to my face. And what I mean by that is I see already two. I've looked at this. I just started looking at this, and I've already seen this show up in 2 different areas. So with the Sun square Pluto, a lot of times that relates to the father. Maybe the father being somewhat domineering, somewhat domineering, and just kind of like difficult energy with the father a lot of the times. And it makes one really, really ambitious. Let's just say that. And Leo is already a very ambitious sign, because remember, you have like a very strong chart, and you have so many planets of dignity. So you're gonna be someone who's very, very talented, very, very capable in many areas. But yeah, with the Sun and Pluto, it gives a very powerful drive to establish your purpose, basically, right? Despite whatever obstacles come up, you're still, you're still you, you can run into these situations with yourself where there's these like internal power struggles. Sometimes people who have this have self-inflicted fears, um different restraints, right, that come up. And basically what it makes you do, though, because there may have been, like I said before, like a very powerful like authority or parental figure, who maybe had like a very like overbearing influence on your like psychological development. And a lot of times what I see with this one is that there's just some level of discord, some like kind of difficult karma between the father, like a lot of times it's and I see this the Saturn one too, but a lot of times it's like very high expectations. Maybe the father was like a powerful person who just expected a lot from you. And maybe because you have this like Mars square Uranus, maybe you're quite rebellious. You probably are. um but then you're so freaking Libra ascendancy that like you have this way of just which is interesting, because we'll have to talk about the communication part too, because I was going to say that just gives you this real way to kind of like just talk your way out of and whatever, and just have this actual power, but it's kind of more hidden, right? In the sense that, yeah, you're a Leo, so it's like it's there. It's not so hidden in that sense, but the fact that you're a Libra rising, it gives a very sweet and just like trusting appearance, right? Yeah, with the square, like people who have this with the Sun, they can sometimes be people who just want to like just be the people in power, basically, right? um and they have to kind of learn, and what has to happen is the shadow work. Pluto represents shadow work, right? um and they often have to really, really like go and do this deep transformational work, which is also related to your Mars and Scorpio, right? So Pluto, Scorpio, eighth house, for the essence of this conversation, let's say they're very similar. I don't want to say they're the exact same thing, but they're very similar. And they have to do with death, rebirth, transformation. So many people, that they don't have any of these markers in their chart at all. And you have, from what I see, two major ones, right? And let's see if there's anything else. No eighth house. Yeah, but still, regardless. I mean, regardless of anything. So, yeah, there's going to be this intense urge for you to like, and it may in you're okay. You're very young. You're very young, so you're probably still figuring this stuff out, which is very good that we got this follow up. You're probably like in the process of, I have no idea. You could be very far along. Age is completely unrelated to where someone's at. I've seen 20-year-olds more mature than 55-year-olds. Age is irrelevant if you look at life from a reincarnation perspective, right? It's like you can have someone who's 50 but they've only reincarnated 5 times, and have someone who's like 10 but they've reincarnated like 10,000 times. Then you factor in like the actual quality. Yeah, someone can reincarnate 10,000 times if they're an idiot all 10,000 times. Like, you know what I mean? But eventually you'd hope that people start to get it. But yeah, so another thing, okay, so whatever happened with the father or the authority figure, it pushes you into this kind of like power versus powerlessness, right? This theme. And at some point it can make someone like want to dominate other people, want to like have complete control over other people. And there's a whole, so this is one of the big karmas in your chart. It's asking for a lot of like letting go and surrendering, right? And basically, like, once you're able to do that and being vulnerable, right? Being able to be vulnerable with people, which with your Pisces moon, which there's a lot. We'll get into it, which is conjunct the South Node, which means you literally have past life mysticism, mystical talents. I see it. I see it in your chart. And with Mars and Scorpio for sure. But yeah, so yeah, like the death rebirth transformation has to be had, and having Mars, which is the planet of action, the planet of like of assertiveness. Speaking of a Scorpio, he ran away. It's a very masculine energy, right? Having that in Scorpio is well, first of all, you're not someone to mess with, right? I mean, Mars and Scorpio people are the last people you want as enemies, and that is 100% sure. Like, they can be, especially like when you're younger, and you have, because Leo is very prideful, right? There's lots of pride with Leo, right? Sometimes excessive pride and ego sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And let me share this. I'm gonna go fill my cup up, so I'm just gonna share this while I do that. I'm still gonna talk, but yeah, basically, like, letting go, like, kind of like that's something that's key for you, kind of learning to let go and learning to accept, because, like, like I said, me and you have a lot of the same stuff going on. And like the Mars and Scorpio person, like, they're very sensitive, and they can be very, very vengeful. Like, they can really, like, want to seek out, like, revenge, if they're kind of in the lower vibe, and they can resort to things like manipulation, and they get what they want. Like, you have the energy of someone who gets what you want. But before I go any further with this, I need to speak about, like, I need to really, really, like, speak about your moon, because the moon, like I said, it's most important, and I can't be, what are we, like 15 or 20 minutes in, and not have talked about your moon. Usually it's like, the first thing I talk about. Actually, my readings are always pretty different. I like to mix it up a little bit each time based on how I'm feeling. But okay, so your moon is in Pisces, the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. Sensitive, or at least the most empathetic, the most imaginative. I'm a Pisces, so it's a super empath energy when you have is your moon sign. But this is the thing about Mika, stop. When it's your moon, you don't really have an ability to see that part of you as clearly. So that's why, like, I tell everyone, just learn about your moon sign, right? Because, like, as a Leo, and like I said, I'm a Leo Pisces, you're a Leo Pisces, right? Even though my moon's Sag, it's in the house of Leo, and I have a ton of fucking Leo rising. What just happened? I swear, like, everything in my house is like, I just, sorry to stop what I was talking about, but all this weird red, looks like blood, but it's like a drink that's almost spilled. Oh my god, this is, like, been happening. Things breaking in my fridge and stuff. It's like, what the hell? I don't even know what that is. Anyways, whatever. But yeah, basically, yeah, with that energy, you just have, like, it makes you extremely, extremely sensitive. Extremely sensitive, right? Now, you're lucky that there's no difficult aspects to your moon, right? You don't have, like, thank God that you don't have moon square Pluto. I mean, sun square Pluto can be difficult, but at least it's something that one's conscious of. And but the moon, the moon, because it's so hidden, it's like we're not always conscious of our emotions, or the moon represents the unconscious, right? So and the moon also, like, on a more like a pragmatic level, it represents what it takes for us to actually feel secure and feel happy. So think about that. So it's like, people who don't know their moon sign and they just follow their sun sign zodiac, they're only following their masculine side, which isn't even as based on, like, their authentic self, and really finding true happiness and security within themselves, within and outside themselves. right? Like in their lives in general. So it's like Pisces moon people, they need to be able to express their emotions. They need to not be shamed for expressing whatever emotions, come up. And they need to have like, so when I talk about partnerships, they need to be in partnerships where they're not shamed for being sensitive, right? They're not shamed for being sensitive and for, because like you can be very deeply affected by your surroundings, I say. So like more than most people, and this is the thing with Pisces moon clients who like don't really know that much about their astrology. And once again, you may have been someone who said that you were studying astrology. I don't know. I don't think so. If I remember like somewhat, I don't think you said you were studying it. Maybe I'm wrong. But the point is this: is that Pisces moon people, they are natural mystics. You're a natural mystic. So all the stuff I'm talking about, all the stuff you see me posting about, even though, like, and I don't know, like if you, I forget, if you live where you're born, or if you, have moved around, I don't know. Right. So, but the point is that like, my best friend, he's from Singapore, and, he's told me a lot about it. He grew up there. So, like, I get it. I get how it is there. I get the culture. I get the energy. I get kind of how people are. Even though I've never been there myself. But when your best friend spent his first 18 years there, you live with him for 5 years, you kind of learn about a place. So, I don't know how many people over there believe in astrology or really care about it, but regardless of where someone's from, if they have these markings like you have in your chart, they're gonna naturally be drawn to these parts of life. Now it's just not just astrology; it's anything that's getting you more in touch with, I'll just call it the divine, oneness. That's what makes you feel your best. That's a Pisces moon's dream. They need to they feel secure when they feel, and I don't want to sound like religious or something, but when they oh, I put my face back on. They feel secure, most secure when they feel connected to the universe. So whether it's through like going to the ocean or like spending time alone, like spending time alone is so huge for you. So huge. Like you need to spend time alone. Pisces moons, they are sponges of energy, right? So you need to spend time in nature, which I know Singapore is not great for that. I know it's a cool place, but I mean, unless there's like a park I don't know about or something. But I just remember Trey saying that there wasn't that much going on. He's the guy I have. I don't know how long you've been following me, but I have a podcast. We haven't released an episode in like 3 months or 4, but it's gonna happen soon, maybe. But basically, like yeah, like it's your environment and the people you're surrounding yourself with. I know this is like the same for everyone, not the same. Like it's relevant to everyone, but for you, it's like more than everyone. Like Pisces moon is the energy that they take on. They're chameleons, and you might not even notice you're doing it, right? So you might like let's say you're around one person and you start to feel their pain, their shame, their energy, but then the Pisces moon person tricks himself in thinking that's theirs. And so different environments. What one trick I tell all my Pisces people, and then I have to talk about your Libra stuff too. I say spend time with someone in a certain environment and feel into your energy. Get like meditation is the best thing for Pisces moon people, right? Because it gets you in touch with your intuition, your imagination. And when we talk in the follow-up, I have, a group that you might be interested in, but it's kind of a top secret. You're gonna have to kind of remind me about it. But it could be something with your 11th house sun, which is about finding groups of like-minded people, which can be of all types of sorts. It's also very, very ambitious. It means that like you're someone who's gonna like have like life goals, like probably maybe different ones. You're gonna be very determined, and they're gonna be very, very big picture. Like they might take like a long time, you know, to complete. Not that you're not, you know, the success won't come to you early. It very well could. It's just that like you'll be very, very attached to these goals. But also like, you know, they can be very, it can make someone very, very humanitarian, stuff like that. And it's cool I love doing readings when it's to someone with a 27 or 28 degree Leo sun, or either that or 21 degrees or 20 degree Sag sun, because it's like I know that like what I'm saying is getting through, especially when your moon is very close to my sun and Mercury. It's only 8 degrees away, so we have all these connections. And then wow, your Jupiter's right on my north node. Yo, we might have some karma together. Who knows? Because your Uranus is also on my Mars. But that's like really good karma if we do have any karma together. I usually don't say that, but like I mean my north node is literally your Jupiter. But who knows? Who knows? My voice kind of just cracked. So yeah. Yeah, so Pisces, spend time alone. Like you know, don't just like go with the status quo. Do things that really interest you, and it kind of plays in well with that Mars, right? Because that Mars in Scorpio, it wants to dive deep. People who have Scorpio Mars are people who, even at a young age, you're young, right? Are going to be more likely to embark in the difficult psychological work that they know that they need to do in order to get to the next level, right? It's a very, very mystical placement. It's very good for I guess you could say psychic intuitive abilities, kind of the sixth sense energy that you can get, you know, when you tap into it, and where you just kind of know things, like that built-in lie detector. And yeah, it makes you really interested in everything like esoteric, all the mysteries of life, the underground stuff, you know, the things that the average people are more afraid to speak about. Those get you going, you know. Now, speaking further about, you know, I want to kind of get this thing with you know, the Libra, which is basically with your Venus and your ascendant there, right? Because so Venus rising obviously very strong here, but this is the one warning I have to give everyone who has, you know, Libra, you know, ascendant Venus, like multiple planets or points, is that there's this thing with Libra, especially since Venus rules kind of how you are in love. Now it's in the first house, so that's it's going to push away a lot of like the potential codependent energy. Is there any aspects? Oh, very nice aspects. And your Mercury is unaspected in retrograde. Very interesting. So yeah, that's very interesting. In the 12th house. Damn. That's kind of crazy. In conjunct the North Node and Black Moon Lilith. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But I'll get to that later. With the Libra energy, it's about people pleasing. It's about like some Libras, they tend to have this, they want everyone to be happy, right? So imagine a Libra's in a relationship, right? And especially as a Pisces moon, most sensitive person. But then there's this other really strong Leo energy, but then you have the Pisces, which like this is a quincunx between them, elemental quincunx. And trust me, I know all about this. This is like the story of my fucking life. I swear. Like, I can. I don't think there's anyone else who can explain this difficulty between having Pisces and Leo. Like, on one side, you want to be the most social, like you just want to be the star. You know, it's like me when I was at my festival. It's like I don't want to be noticed by anyone. You know, that's like the Pisces part. But then the Leo part's like the part of me that will have like blonde hair usually, or you know, whatever. Like, want to kind of not be a star. That's a kind of sounds a little bit narcissistic, but you know, want to shine. You know, want to do something in the world. Who's ambitious. That kind of that fire energy gets me going. You know, and it gives me confidence. So, yeah, what's difficult between those two is that it creates two different parts. One part that literally just wants to go sit and meditate in nature, be calm, and especially the Libra. The Libra plays into this Pisces part too, right? Because the Libra is also very about balance. Now, what can happen though is that these are the two signs that lack boundaries the most in relationships: Libra, Pisces. Now, why is that? Why is that? When you must have seen my latest post of like top Venus signs, and I had Venus being love, I had Pisces 1, Libra 2. Well, super, super romantic. There's no fucking way you're not romantic. Excuse my French. Maybe I should just start cussing in French because I am French. That'd be kind of weird though. We'll see. What was I saying? Yeah, you have very, very big, you're very romantic. But what you have to watch out for is how you need to have boundaries, right? You need to have boundaries, and if you don't, people will take advantage of you. You know, you'll attract energy vampire types, and it's just not good. Let's just say it how it is. It's just bad news. All kinds of bad things can happen in a sense that, you know, like the Pisces moon can be someone who is so idealistic in love that they refuse to look at anything bad about the other person. They only look at their potential, right? So that's that. One 8, 9, 21, 22. 1 second. 8, 9, 21, 22, 8, 9, 21, 22. Fixed. Nope. Nope. And then for beautiful 417. No. Nope. 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 And then 17. Nope. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of like a warning, is that like you can have amazing relationships, but you have to learn, and that goes with the whole shadow work, right? Um, so yeah, learning boundaries, learning when to step, you know, put your foot down and speak your truth, you know, speak like have your own back. Like I'm not gonna take, you know, like knowing what you're gonna take and what you're not gonna take. It's very, very, very important. Um Aside from that, more kind of going back to the Sun square Pluto, because I didn't really finish what I was going to say about that. Yeah, so a lot of times it's like a parent who has like really high expectations, usually the father. Um, it's all about like still following your deepest desire, right? Um, and going through that death, rebirth, transformation. Going through that shadow work, going through all the difficult spiritual work that leads you to a better tomorrow, you know, a more authentic version of yourself, which, you know, that Mars and Uranus is totally asking for. Now, another thing about Mars square Uranus, Mars and Scorpio, is that you need to work out. You need to have like punch something. You need, like, that's like a volcanic energy to have these two, Sun square Pluto, being a sensitive Pisces moon, and then have Mars and Scorpio, which is like the ultimate Scorpio stinger, like knows exactly what to say to destroy someone. Like, but then you have like the Mercury retrograde, which can make you like kind of overly analytical, and we have to go into the karma related to that. And the 12th house is a lot. It's kind of crazy. I'm gonna try to break it down in a second when we get to that part of the reading. But yeah, just it's all about, like I said, letting go, um, not becoming like consumed with like claiming power over other people. And in the end, it makes someone like a very great leader, especially as a Leo, you know. You know, it's close to Regulus. It's not quite there, but it's close enough. Or maybe just out of aspect. Yeah, actually, it's a sun, so I wouldn't say it's there. The sun should be like within like a degree, or 1.5 degrees. Um, let's see. But yeah, with the Sun square Pluto, you know, you may also be attracted to very like intense people. But then at the same time, that's like the split, another split, because then at the same time, there's like this desire to be with like in relationships where there's more of a smooth flowing, harmonious energy, right? But lots of times the Sun square Pluto, yeah, it just makes you like very, very like competitive. Um, and yeah, it's all about self-awareness. Because the lower tendencies are, like I said, are like being overly ambitious, like dominant, aggressive, extremist, using force, psychological, like that the advanced like psychological scorpionic techniques, like manipulation, um, and just kind of like using your emotional intelligence in a bad way. That's kind of the lowest energy there. So yeah, it's based, yeah, like I said, it forces you to kind of this, lots of times, to like these crises that lead you to the death, rebirth, transformation. So you tend to like grow up really fast, which makes sense. You're getting this reading and you're young. So with that said, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so that's the only aspect there. Moon opposite Mercury. So okay, that's interesting too. Should I get into that? No, let's go there after. Let's see, more of Venus. So yeah, you have very like beautiful like energy with art, and you know, I think even partnerships. Where's my little book? I sometimes look at Mika, cat Mika. Also, it's funny, like my cats are so synchronistic with my readings. Like you have your moon in the sixth house. In the sixth house, one thing that rules the sixth house is animals, like pets. And moon is your emotions. So you might be someone who's super connected to like cats or um, animals, and who gets like a ton of emotional just healing from pets. So yeah. Anyways, just really quickly, so like Venus trine, the grand trine, it's, where's Pluto? It's sextile Pluto. Wait, why is it saying this? Sextile Pluto trine Neptune Uranus. Okay. So okay. The trine with which was the closest? Uranus. Yeah. Um so the trine with Venus and Uranus, romantic, artistic personality, these are just like keywords. Like these are like more minor aspects. Romantic, artistic personality intrigues others because of unusual ideas about sex and love, could be very sentimental. Now with Neptune, so this Neptune one isn't as close. It's separated by 5 degrees, which it's close enough. It just won't be as intense as the Uranus one. It says heightened creativity, interest in mysticism, powerful artistic potential, but native needs a firm direction. Which, that's another thing about the Pisces moon person, is that with the Leo and Pisces I was talking about before, the Leo can be very fixed and they know what direction they want to go, but the Pisces, they need that time alone, because the Pisces is the sign that just is mutable and just goes with the flow, and sometimes they can feel kind of lost in their lives, right? Especially on an emotional level, because there can be this whole level of fog, right? Emotional fog that comes out, which can be difficult for one's self-esteem. It can be difficult for Pisces moons to really fully understand themselves. Okay, so might as well read what it said about Sun square Pluto. Inclined towards selfishness, aloofness, and antisocial behavior. Okay, that's a little bit more extreme than what I was talking about, but it's good to hear different takes. And then Moon and Mercury. I was going to talk about that one later. I will talk about it later, like my take on it. But I just want to, while I'm here. Cat, stop. Fed eggs. Let me spill my freaking tea. Okay. High strung, frenetic nature, native inclined to be anxious and nervous. That's another thing too, is that that can definitely show up. Okay, so I think that's all I want to see. Hey, Fedix. You want me to lock you outside? Fedix. Stop, Fedix. Okay. Oh yeah. Might as well see what they say about the Mars in Uranus. Impatient, perverse, touchy nature. Native may be intolerant, combative, subject to irritability and tension. So that's kind of how I was talking to you before about. It's also, there's a lot more to it. It's also super rebellious. It doesn't want to do things the status quo way. If it has a family structure that's kind of pushing in one direction, it's gonna be the ultimate like, oh hell no, I'm going my own direction type energy, right? Um, and I don't know. I don't want to project my idea of Singapore, not even knowing if you even live there anymore. I forget if you like live in Singapore or London, whatever. But basically, yeah, like I can see like from what I've heard, like from either of these places, like big Western cities, just the pressure that parents, put on their kids to kind of do the right thing. You know what I mean? So, but for you, it just might be different, and it doesn't mean like you could be super successful in business. You can be super successful as a lawyer, as a diplomat, literally, like as someone who's like who's sitting and who or like anything really, because like that Libra energy, it just gives you this swagger. I don't know how else to fucking say it. It's like Leo Sun, like Libra, Venus rising, you know. And another great thing about Libra rising, or Libra, excuse me, Venus, um, is that same harmoniousness and that same, it gives you the ability to see like the beauty in yourself, like this rising sign. And it's really, really good for the body too, for the physical body, for health. But also Venus and Libra, Venus, your love language, it gives a higher probability that you have some, level of innate self-love. Get away from my food, Esmond. Um, and what happens with Venus Leo people, or people who have, like a seventh house Venus, is that they tend to be able to see the really good things in their partners more than like other placements, so that they can like see the beauty and see the good, while other people might be like very cynical and only see the bad parts of someone, like a Venus in Virgo or some Venuses in Virgo. So, so I think we've gone over every aspect. What else do I want to say about Mars in this position? I need to go over Mercury, obviously, which is like how you communicate, how you talk, how you think. I guess I can leave it. Yeah, I can leave it at that. You can just ask me, like we can go more into it in the follow up. Like if there's anything you're not clear on, with the Mars creators, but definitely finding like either a creative or a physical outlet super important, because you can have like lots of like, it's like volcanic, like tense energy, especially with Mars and Scorpio, where you literally can just feel like you're gonna freaking explode like a volcano if you don't like get that sweat out, right? Also can make one very dramatic. Also like very high sexual energy, not just sex, just in terms of having lots of like spirit, like what's the word? Prana, like just like lots of like a very strong sexual energy. It's not referring to sex, but also sex. Mars and Scorpio are super sexual. Um, Also it's in your second house. It's super good for making that money. It gives you just like this big drive to want to also like do that, but also develop like a really strong set of spiritual values. That's another thing for you. Okay, moving on. So Mercury, this is a very interesting part of your chart. So Mercury conjunct North Node. Mercury's how you talk, how you think. It's in retrograde natally, which means that karmically from past lives, it's opposite your moon. So this is very interesting. So your moon's conjunct South Node. So this is what I make out of the past life story there. In past lives, you had a tendency to be very, very empathetic. Very, very empathetic. You are a natural healer. You're someone who's done a lot for helping other people, whether it's like, being like a doctor or being someone who just like is like a healer, any kind of healer, right? That comes naturally to you. You have this natural ability to kind of like heal the people that come to you, whether it's friends or if that's the work you're doing. I don't know. So that's very cool. Now, the fact, so yeah, so you brought, since it's conjunct yourself, Esmond, get away from my food. How many times? Stop, Esmond, you're getting locked in my room. One more time, locked in my room. 1 hour. And then you're having fun with your friends. Esmond, she's a food addict. I'll show you Esmond. Esmond, stop being addicted to food. Okay, there's your cat. Seconds. Okay, anyways. So basically what I'm getting at is that you have not used your voice. I believe it's been an under usage of your voice, right? In past lives. You've been such an artistic, creative person, but there's been more of a tendency to be stuck in like kind of the dreamland, right? Now with that said, the fact that is in the 12th house is that you're trying to become more spiritual in less lifetime, but it's actually imbalance because the 6th is Virgo and the 12th is Pisces, and you have Virgo in the 12th and Pisces in the 6th. So Pisces in the house of Virgo, Virgo in the house of Pisces. That means it's a karmic imbalance. I see this a lot between these two energies. So what does it mean to have this axis in line? Basically, being too Pisces, not enough Virgo, is a person who just has all these lofty dreams and aspirations. Oh, I'm going to do this and that, and all these creative ideas, but then they never have the structure to put it together and actually do it, right? Now, being too Virgo is someone who's just so stuck in the moment. They can be very critical of themselves, very critical of other people, and they can that criticism, it keeps them away from that connection to the divine, which to you I believe comes naturally. I believe that comes very naturally. I believe that regardless of what family structure, what community you were born in, I believe that you always probably sense things. You always had this mystical side that maybe got repressed. I don't know. But like, I mean, I would be very surprised if you like in our follow-up didn't tell me about like, different experiences and different thoughts you had, growing up, and maybe got shunned by family or something like that. But like it's just nearly always the case with this place. But yeah, so it's like, how can you bring those two together? For example, the one really great way is like, okay, you have these amazing dreams, these amazing aspirations. What are the step-by-step rules, or practices that's going to take to get to that level? That's it's going to take to actually turn that into a reality. But with that said, Mercury in Virgo is a very strong Mercury placement. It's in retrograde. So when it's in retrograde, what happens is that it's unaspected. So usually an unaspected Mercury person, they talk a bunch. But in your case, it's in the 12th house. So I believe that you have a lot. You probably are maybe an overthinker. I would say for like, or at least you've gone through that a lot. And you're someone who's deeply deeply thoughtful. But there could be a tendency to kind of like be overly critical of yourself and get stuck in your own head and have this constant ruminations. It could be something you've gone past, but this is your destiny, is by you going into the 12th house, right? Your North Node, which is like, like the North Node represents the mountain never climbed in past lives. So imagine there's like a metaphoric mountain that you've never climbed in past lives, and right now you're trying to get there, right? So basically the way to do that is through tuning into spiritual, to higher spiritual practices, or doing something where you're devoting your life to some kind of service, something that really is close to your heart, some selfless act. Devoting your life / like, you can have different things you do, like having something, where you're growing spiritually, right? It's all about that quest to see the part, to see, what was I saying? It's all about that quest to see your part in the great in the totality of all creation, right? To see the self as a part of the greater whole. And it's all about, like I said, learning mind over matter and transforming any kind of self preoccupation, and because you'll have lots of past life like talents that maybe you don't even know about yet, you know, like maybe you're dormant, maybe they're not, but they're based on Pisces energy, and putting those into some kind of something that's practical, in terms of like how it can be applied and used to help humanity. And also, Northern Virgo, it's a quest to to become dedicated to the service of others. Letting go of like the tendency to daydream and not do, which is why you're Leo in this lifetime, right? I believe that we have our sun sign for a reason. And for Leo, it's for you to get in touch with that power, right? And I want to check one thing: air, fire, earth, water. Okay, so you have every element. Good job. But yeah, what else besides that? So yeah, I said, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, like finding a way to put it into practical use, but also still kind of staying like still developing yourself spiritually and taking spiritual risks. Now, Black Moon Lilith, which isn't a planet, but it's a potential, right? So it represents our shadow, like where we go when we like let ourselves go, like when we're like at our lowest, right? So to have it conjunct your Mercury in Virgo is exactly what I was saying before, is that basically there's a tendency to be overly self-critical that might be projected to others. And anxiety for sure could be something that comes up, and it can make you very shy to have this energy here, right? It can make you like very, like I said, very like in your own thoughts, even as a Leo. Now the fact that it's opposite your moon, basically it speaks exactly to how to what I was just saying, to like how like emotionally, it's a little bit different. On an internal emotional level, you want to have that oneness, but then your own thoughts, your own way of seeing the world, or of talking and of thinking, and kind of like that energy, of being two in the 3D, right? That can get in the way of your spirituality and connection, right? Like being too logical about things and overthinking decisions, right? Instead, so it's all about you learning to really go with your intuition in life. And if you've gone, like develop that more, and I don't think it'd be that hard for you, honestly. Um, and wow, I just realized something crazy about me and your chart. Your vertex is exactly my sun. I guess it's 1 degree different, but basically what that means is that you were meant to, and it sounds weird, but when you have a connection with your vertex, um, let's see if you have anything on my vertex. I think it's at 20. I don't think you do, but yeah, basically it's very faded. So basically what it's saying is that like you for whatever reason, like I like you're meant to this was meant to happen, like this conversation we're having, and if we become friends or something like that, who knows? I become friends with a good amount of my clients after. I'm down to earth. I'm not like some astrologer, just like peace. Like I like to stay cool with people, Camera. Okay. So that's that. Relationship stuff. So more about that. Okay, so you're definitely gonna like be attracted to someone who is, also humanitarian, who's also, really caring about the collective, who shares similar ideals and beliefs as you, in the sense of like they care about helping people and stuff of that nature. Now, also, you'll be attracted to kind of a Leo type, because your Juno, which is like kind of what you look for most in a partner, is in Leo. So you'll be attracted to someone who's, who's really like striving towards their goals and who's fun, who's in touch with their inner child. That's another huge thing about the Leo for you. Being a Leo is all about being in touch with your inner child. So it's very, very important for you to have friends and people around you who you can just be goofy with. And that goes to partnerships as well. I already said the thing about the Venus in Libra. Just watch out for the codependency, even though I don't see that being a factor, like in that much of a way, but definitely super romantic. Just make sure you don't let the energy vampires come in. Just look at that. So now we can kind of go through. Okay, so and yeah, Mars and Scorpio, it's just like someone, it speaks to like also like a part of you really being attracted to someone who's also spiritually mature in some way, or who's at least willing to kind of hear you out, and to kind of maybe even like help you out in that part of life, or even just learn with or from you, or like something like that. But really, I think that like it speaks also to like a certain level of like of intensity that the individual needs to have, and a certain level of like kind of seriousness that they have towards their like development, their psychological development, because it's very important. So you can't be with someone who just like who just doesn't give a shit and who's like doesn't care about growing. You're definitely someone who's sensitive, who's meant to go through lots of deep transformations, and it could be very easy for you to leave people behind who just can't do it. So Chiron in Libra, that's an interesting one to have in the first house. The reason I say that is that you can feel lots of pain in relationships, right? And when there's any kind of imbalance in relationships, you can feel lots of pain. Lots of people who have this, they suffered it like in an early relationship with a parent figure, usually a father in your case, and they tend to learn a ton through their relationships. They also can become amazing counselors or psychologists or people like that who work with clients. Yeah, the first house, it's like usually it speaks about like some type of like wounded, like hurt, like in some kind of physical way, either emotionally or physically. And you feel like some sense of like there can be like a lot of people who have this, like they feel like when they're really being themselves, especially if this is related to the father, who knows, like that they get shut down, and then they just say, okay, fuck it, I'm just not gonna be myself anymore. So yeah, it's a strong placement for like potentially being like a healer, and it is sextile the sun and conjunct Mars. So yeah, Chiron, like FedEx, stop it. Okay, so that Pluto third house. Okay, so basically that's speaking about how a lot of your personal shadow work has to do with finding your voice, finding your authentic voice, right? Also, and I have a lot of experience with this placement. There can be lots of power struggles with siblings. I don't know if you have any siblings. And yeah, so that's very important to be said. Besides that, it's like in past lives there could have been this tendency to like believe things that you were told. Tell me this makes sense. Like how to follow. Like it's like imagine like you're like there's a level of conditioning, right? Where for whatever reason you didn't want to go out into the everyday life and have like the small, like it's like the journalist, it's like to have like a grand philosophy. This is like Gemini and Sagittarius, right? You have to do the journalist work, like the talking to the little mini people, all that, this and that, and then you can connect that to your grand philosophy. So it's important in this life to kind of like have those connections. Okay, moving forward, and we can talk more about that in the follow-up. But I think the most important part of that Pluto is it's square the sun. So yeah. fourth house Neptune, typically, I mean, I think everyone I've talked to that has this, they tend to say the same thing. They tend to say that that they have very foggy memories of their childhood. Like some people will so there's this interesting thing that happens here is where there's this distorted view of your childhood where you might either let's say you had a traumatic childhood, which I'm not saying you did. I mean, you do have your IC in Capricorn, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's ruled by Saturn, so it just means that there's lots of karma in your family. Like your family is there's a lot it's a very very karmic family in the sense that you could, like many of my clients, you could be one of the people who's really meant to break some type of generational cycle. Let's say it's random example, like not being able to express emotions in the family, something like that, maybe you being the one that's a random example, like something like that, or like some issue with substances or something, anything, you can think of anything, like not being able to admit you're wrong, not being able to get vulnerable, anything like that. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose, just allergies. Okay, so with the Neptune there, what happens is that the person either so they have this fogginess where because Neptune creates confusion, fog around their childhood, and I don't think it has any connections. I think it's unaspected, right? I mean, besides the conjunction. Okay, it's trying. By the way, and I need to say even further, you have a major artistic, like really high artistic potential. So I'm gonna be very mad at you. I'm just joking, but I'm gonna be disappointed if you're not doing art because you're a natural born artist, artiste. I'm not gonna be mad at you. And actually, oddly enough, some of the most creative charts I've seen, people have been like, I don't feel that creative, and then I'm like, fuck, you are. Like Noah, the Pisces moon, Leo sun, Libra rising on the ascendant is, or Libra Venus and rising is in Scorpio. Mars is not creative. It's possible. But yeah, there's definitely this kind of unconventional rebellious side to you too, which you need to talk about too. You remind me about that, because the follow-ups can be about you explaining your lived experience and comparing it to what I'm saying here. So that's the most important thing, is that you understand everything I'm saying here, no matter how many times you have to watch it. Take your time. And yeah, and then we see. So mm, so yeah, as I was saying, with the Neptune, it's either there's this the over idealization where oh my god, everything was so perfect when in reality everything sucked, or the opposite, oh my god, everything was so bad, but then everything was totally fine. So it's very important to kind of come to terms with the reality of the childhood. And also there can be there could have been this escapist tendency in childhood, especially the Pisces moon, escaping through your own imagination. That's something about Pisces moon. You have to watch out for substances, watch out for you need to find healthy creative escapes. But I don't know, even though Pisces moon, Pisces has that reputation, I found that, I mean, yeah, I've seen Pisces moons with substance issues a lot. Lots of them with mental health issues, like two of my good friends. Or more than that actually. But I've also seen them be for example, Kanye. He's a Pisces moon. Just look up artists, singers, or something with Pisces moons, and then you'll be like, okay, never mind. Singers, actors, whatever. Especially actors, because Pisces is the best acting sign. I mean, in the sense that they're chameleons, right? They're chameleons. That's why another thing that I said earlier that you have to watch out for is kind of putting, I'm gonna show the chart again. What you have to look out for is what am I saying? Is especially, this is more when you're younger. but like the energy of like putting too much trust in an individual, right? Putting too much belief, like this. Oh my God, this friend, you like idolizing. Let's say you, like when you're younger, like you idolize one of your friends from school, right? You think they're just like perfect, and then like they can really fall victim to peer pressure. Is kind of what I'm trying to say. So gotta watch out for that. Um, and yeah, so interesting stuff. Vertex in the sixth house, your doorway to higher awareness is through service. That's all over your chart. And then we didn't even talk about Uranus in the fifth. This is another ultra creative energy. Ultra creative. I'm telling you. And you'll be very, very like inventive in your creativity. Maybe you like electronic music like I do. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people that have Uranus in the fifth, they really like, kind of futuristic types but I guess your Libra Venus would probably indicate maybe a different type of music, more smooth. Not that electronic music is not smooth, but there's so many different types. It's most smooth, actually, in my opinion. But with that said, we all have different music taste. Jupiter in the fifth house, amazing for creativity, also. Amazing, amazing. And it's on my North Node. So it's another one that's very, very good for being an inventor, for being like ahead of your time, for being someone who's really like who just has this amazing ability to kind of see into the future. So it could be good for like all kinds of things, like even like investments or like, you know, anything that involves the future, futurism, whatever. Um, anything. It's another very creative placement. It's also, these two energies are very good for children, especially Jupiter in the fifth house. That means that if you don't have kids, I'm guessing, but when you do, if you do, this is a very good sign that, like, okay, so this is saying that, okay, let's say you have two kids, right? Let's say one of them represents Jupiter, one represents Uranus. It's not always like that, but your children would be very like this the Jupiter one would be very, very expansive, like very, very, like it's just saying that you'll benefit a lot through children. And then the Uranus is like that your kids will be unconventional in their own right. They might be little mini geniuses, people who can think for themselves. So yeah, and the fact that that Jupiter is there and Uranus is there, it's like that same energy gets channeled into your own ability to be creative, your ability to have fun. You might, I don't know if you're someone who likes to like party in the sense of like going out and having fun with friends. I imagine that you do as a Leo. But who knows? But yeah, one other thing I didn't really say about Mercury in Virgo is that it's also in dignity. So even though it's retrograde, it still is a very strong marker of intelligence. Now, 15 degrees, that's a nice degree. It's really in the middle. It's right in the middle. So it's a very established degree. So yeah, like getting like the karmic thing is it getting deeper with spirit with the divine, and then that's going to break through this energy, right? That's going to break through this energy, which can sometimes be too in the here and now, too worried about little stupid things, that don't really matter. When you start to meditate, you start to like learn, expand yourself in that spiritual way, your whole view of life changes, and you start to look at little things that maybe used to bring you anxiety and stuff like that, and you're like, shit, that doesn't matter. But you actually embody that. It's not just something you can say, it's something you can embody and feel. So yeah, moving up, we already talked about the moon. So yeah, sixth house moon, very, very karmic. Service I think is very important to you. And also this Jupiter in Aquarius is very good for just like, being like an amazing, I'll go back to my face. It's also like very good for like humanitarianism and stuff of that nature. Now a little bit more about love. And also, yeah, Jupiter in the fifth house, it's like you're always searching for ways to expand your creative self-expression, right? I mean, yeah, really liking to have lots of freedom to express your sense of like fun and creativity and all that. So yeah, and also like in Jupiter and Aquarius, it's like very like kind of racially inclusive, humanitarian. It's more of that energy. Okay, then we have Saturn in the 7th. So this one can be difficult because what it can do is it can make it so relationships can be difficult in the sense that like not that you won't have any, especially as like your Venus and Libra and stuff. So like that really helps it. But a lot of people with Saturn in the 7th, they can sometimes it's like like around the Saturn return around like 29, 30 when they really start to get like their most serious, like best relationships. Not to say I tell that to people that are younger sometimes, and I don't want to like make them think that they're not going to have any relationships till they're 30 or any important ones. But like you learn, there's definitely this level of like kind of fearing commitments in relationships, right? Maybe like early in life, there's like kind of feeling overwhelmed by one-on-one relationships, but you tend to like learn a ton through them. Like karmically, like you learn a ton through the relationships. But there can be this feeling that some people experience that have this where they feel held back. Like they feel like I don't know, like they feel like they just have all these setbacks in that area of life. You know, it's hard to like meet the right person or something. With that said, your part of fortune is also in 7th house. So in Aries. So it's like part of fortune in Aries, it's kind of like your flow state, right? So basically it's like when you're really flowing with this like very pioneering, being your own person energy and being like independent, all that stuff, and just like moving towards your goals, super important for you. Now in the 7th house, you'll have your greatest joy through union, right? Giving to others is really key to this, to your feeling of self-fulfillment and happiness, but also relationships. So there's lots of joy that comes through that. And it's not just romantic relationships, so it can also be business partnerships. If you're doing if you're a psychologist, for example, or like any kind of job that like this, where there's like a client and a client practitioner or whatever you want to call it, relationship, that's also a 7th house one. So wrapping it up, midheaven is in Cancer, so it's ruled by the moon. So it would indicate that your outer life, kind of like what you're really trying to do in the world, has some level of, like I said before, helping people. Where it helps you, like whatever like career job you do, or it doesn't have to just you can have like a career thing that pays the bills, but also like other stuff you're doing, because it's like your dharma. So you could be someone who's like meant to really like do great in all areas of life. I'll show you. Where is it? So it's like you definitely like want to have like an emotional connection to what you're doing. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. Very interesting reading. Switch back over here. So yeah, you let me know about the follow up, and we'll go from there. All right. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Bye. Okay. Later.